Ladies and gentlemen, there might just be a new best deck in Marvel Snap. The deck we're looking at today is not the deck I'm playing to begin with, but it's actually my opponent's. This is a tournament series, the very first few games against Moyen, where he's using the new best deck in Marvel Snap. It's a Patriot deck which has come out of nowhere and is absolutely dominating the tournament scene. I got absolutely destroyed by this deck today by Moyen, who's one of the top players in Marvel Snap. And in today's video, you're going to be seeing that action in the tournament. And then later on, I also commentated a bunch of players using this very deck because it is absolutely everywhere in the pro scene right now. The original list, KM Best, posted. However, it has been improved slightly. The Misty Knight that you can see here has been replaced by a Cosmo. Cosmo is offering so much protection against Enchantresses because as soon as an ongoing deck like this becomes popular in the tournament scene, players with Enchantress are going to be everywhere. You have so many ways of getting different ongoing cards. You have your Patriot, but then also your Iron Lad can be copying Patriot. It can be copying Mystique. It can be copying Onslaught and Blue Marvel. The Iron Lad is just through the roof good here with a floor of 6 points for 4 energy, but an potential ceiling which is just beyond 20 points if you hit something like an Onslaught, an Iron Man, or a Doctor Doom. And there's just so many good cards to hit with the Iron Lad here. Even if you hit something like a Patriot, you're super happy. Believe it or not, if you hit Brood with Iron Lad, you will get 2 6-power Broodlings. Similarly, with Mr. Sinister, you would get a 6-power Sinister clone. The other thing this deck really wants, in my opinion, and it's something that Moyen used against me to secure an 8-cube victory, is an Ultron. What exactly you replace for Ultron is a little bit contentious. I would lean towards Debris or Wasp being the most obvious cuts. Probably don't want to cut the Wasp though, like Wasp has always been auto-include in Patriot, so I would guess the Debris is probably the thing which is going to make way. I do hope you enjoy this gameplay from myself in the tournament and then some of my casting of the top players in Marvel Snap, and I hope you check this Patriot deck out. If you enjoy it, give it a like and subscribe for more juicy decks. Man, Iron Lad. What the fuck? That's just rude. I've not made any use of Altar of Death this game, which is not ideal. In terms of like the ramp. We do have a lot of points. I will say that. I don't think we have enough though, do we? 20 points to the left as it stands. Yeah, I need to get rid of the chat overlay. It's a bit scuffed. I need to find like a workaround so I can have chat on screen, but it's not showing like the restream. It's a bit scuffed, isn't it? Thanks. I'll just get rid of it. I need to find a workaround. Okay. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to stay in this one. The Iron Lad high rolled. I have 20 points to the left as it stands. That's like the obvious line, right? He's already played Doom. I could see us staying in it, honestly. Mate, he's losing if I go right with my Chavez. No? 6? I guess he's not. 6. If I go 6 to the right here, extra. So I was losing. Rip. Not a good start, man. It just looks like a really bad matchup for me with Doctor Doom anyway, I'll be honest. Doctor Doom's a big issue for this deck. Could have conceded early on the altar. You can see why I wanted to stay in here, but it looks like he just did the maths. I'm obviously not familiar with his list, whereas mine's a lot more predictable. Oh, snap. I'm not really happy with how I played so far. Yeah, I wanted to retreat right as well for 1 cube, but like I was just that second too late. That's got to be good for us. Also, though, Doctor Doom does exist, so maybe I need to storm it. Gotta storm it because of Doom. she's going to end up over to the left. I think this is like a legit strategy from Moyen as well. Like the timing of his snap meant that I really had like very little time. I'd already locked my play in, right? Very little time to adjust my decision making. My collector is going to go crazy with Modok. But yeah, like the big concern is, will I actually have enough points to win the Storm lane? We could also just bank on him missing Doom. But then even if he misses Doom, he could slam Iron Lad to try and hit Doom. I think we need to be bold in our decision making. Storm mid just feels like I have no follow-up. I'd be relying fully on Collector. Wow. This is a surprising play. He gets it off Camp Lehigh, it's not in his actual deck.
Wind, aid my hand.
Nice, perfect card draw here. So we need to get ahead of Doom in both lanes. Certainly at least in one of them. Patriot Mystique is still a threat also. I mean, we have to morb the left. The question then is this really getting me ahead enough? I think this is fine. We just need to hit Swarm or something to buff the Collector up, right? For the Modok. Swarm or APOC off the top. I think that's the best find. Mystique plus Doom is the biggest threat, or I guess like Onslaught on the last turn is also a threat. He snaps. I ain't gonna retreat because I do have like the best hand possible. I'm gonna stay in. I don't think we're in that bad of a spot, but maybe I don't really know like what's going on still. You see like the timing of his snaps, guys? It's very cringe behavior. How are we even losing from here? I think he underestimated the power of the Collector. Doom does get him there to the left, but it wouldn't get them there to the right, would it? Well, we're locked in. Ultron. There's a flipping Ultron. Of course there's an Ultron. I mean, this matchup is just unwinnable for me, I'll be honest. I ain't got a fucking hope. So far, looking pretty good. One of the... Again, this is the same deck which I lost to, it looks like. Patriot Lad. Here we go. It's Browday versus Felix. The first location showing up is Savage Land. Obviously, a little bit of synergy there for the Patriot, potentially. First card comes down and it's Nebula. What a great start. An early Nebula. I'm going to mute it. An early Nebula... No joke at all, especially into Savage Land, right? That's two cards which Broday's not going to be able to play. Browday is not going to be able to play in there. Mr. Sinister comes through, a very nice looking variant. And the Nebula already begins her growth. Chilling now at 3 points already. Shuri's Lab showing up to the right. Also going to be a pretty awkward one there for Browday with the fact that he's already got two cards in there which weren't buffed up. The Cosmo are going to come down. The initiative is in favor of Browday right now. He does have that one extra point. Middle is tied, which does mean the Cosmo will reveal first and might catch his opponent off guard. But controversially playing into Lechigilla, but that's what Storm does so well. The Nebula could have maybe suggested that Storm was a possible card here for Felix. Looks like the Brood's going to come down in the middle, which of course the buffs can come through later on from Blue Marvel and Patriot and Onslaught. And it's a Juggernaut on the other side! The Juggernaut moves the Brood into the Shuri's Lab! And this is looking like a really strong position for Felix. I wonder if he's just regretting not snapping that little bit sooner here. He only gets 1 cube from it, but Felix strikes first in this battle mode. All right, we move on to round number 2. The first location which shows up is Camartage. We're still not too sure about the deck that Felix has, but a Storm, a Juggernaut, a Nebula, could be a Daredevil and a Professor X in there. You would imagine it's not Silver Surfer because you lose the ability to play Killmonger with Nebula. However, it is possible that you could still just whack Nebula into Silver Surfer. Nightcrawler comes through as well. Jeff, Professor X, these are looking like possible cards, I would say. The Mr. Sinister is going to come down into the far right unrevealed location. We see the Nebula come through again on turn number 2. Most likely the card which was drawn off the top then. Otherwise the Nebula would have just made more sense to have come down on turn 1. The third and final location is Monster Island. A nice little bit of Nebula synergy there. And again, Browday kind of a little bit clogged into Monster Island. But interestingly, goes for the debris. Does get snapped on. You can see the small circles around Browday's cube means that he has not yet snapped. This is a snap from Felix here. The debris into Camartage is going to clog the far right lane entirely for his opponent, though. Oscorp Tower also got 2 rocks in there. Scorpion comes through into Camartage, a very powerful play indeed. This means that the Broods are just 0 points. The Patriot is -1. This Nebula is going to continue to grow for the rest of the game as well. It's going to be getting 3 more buffs at 6 points. That's 18 points off to the right for Felix. Of course, the Patriot is going to be buffing even the monster up. So that's already the right lane secured for Browday, even against this Nebula. Felix was the player who snapped. The Green Goblin into Camartage! Uh-oh! Spaghetti-O. I'm not sure that Felix thought that one through. Definitely didn't expect to see that in a tournament setting. Browday swiftly responds with a snap of his own. Currently a 2-cube game. If Felix stays in this one, it is going to be a 4-cube game minimum. Browday looking for the Mystique play, going to be copying the Patriot. Is low on board space, only 3 slots left after this turn. This is turn 5, ladies and gentlemen. So 2 energy is being wasted here by Browday. The Nightcrawler can still move. Guys, there's some big brain plays coming with this Green Goblin. We just haven't seen it yet. Felix doesn't retreat, stays in it. Makes a play mid. It's the Gamora, gets the prediction correct. That's a 12-point Gamora. The Onslaught coming into the left. The Wasp going where? The Onslaught is going to be, of course, increasing the power of Patriot buffs. The right is secure already here for Browday. And he is quite far behind on Oscorp Tower, though. Looks like he might have it, but what is the final play here for Felix? For 8 cubes, it's a jug! That is not popping off, and Browday looks like this game is in the bag with this big 8-cube victory. The Green Goblin into Camartage. Felix has had a little bit of a stinker. This is pro gameplay. Well, this is an open community tournament, and this is quite far into it as well. So it's clearly we can say from this that Felix isn't one of the strongest players, but that's the beautiful thing about community tournaments, right? Felix has obviously proven himself so far in this tournament, had a lot of wins to get this far. But maybe the pressure got to him a little bit here. Project Pegasus showing up. Yeah, this is what I was saying. My game against Moyen, if I won that, I was feeling pretty confident of going far into the tournament. Browday is one of the strongest players on paper in this tournament as well, for sure. Debris and Brood are going to come through. That will clog the lane that Brood is in for Browday. Won't be able to play any other cards there. The snap comes through. This time it was from Oh, no. It was from Felix. Again, you can tell by the little circle surrounding the cube here for Browday. Stays in it. Unsurprising. Scorpion comes through. Not putting in too much work. Professor X out of nowhere! The Professor X secures the bag middle. However, there is a chance here for Browday to still win Project Pegasus. But it's going to be very difficult. What he needs is the Blue Marvel and the Iron Lad copying the Blue Marvel and the Onslaught, which can no longer happen. He can tie middle. Medeweld is going to be destroying his broods. Blue Marvel plus the Onslaught will still tie mid, though. Yep, exactly. The tournaments have... Oh, the Cosmo onto the green gobbers! Unbelievable Cosmo play here. Bit of an awkward energy turn curve. Only a 2-point Mr. Sinister available. Bit of a stinker for Browday, but with that Cosmo play, going to be feeling kind of nice. It does look very difficult for him nonetheless. I'd be very surprised if he decides to play anything here, to be honest. Maybe he's just forced to play the Mr. Sinister to the right. You could also play Mr. Sinister for 1 point to the left. The Spider-Mans comes through into Medeweld. There is going to be no follow-up on Professor X, though. Could there be a cheeky Absorbing Man, though? Blue Marvel is going to come into the left. We could then see, of course, the Onslaught coming into the left to tie up the middle location. It's Captain Marvel. Higher, further, faster, baby. The Blue Marvel comes down. 5-point lead to the left. 9-point loss to the right. No point in Browday conceding at this point, though, because it is for 2 cubes anyway. So it's going to stay in. Has 2 options, which is Doctor Doom to the right, which looks garbage. So it does go for the only real option. Gamora comes through to the left, but doesn't get the buffs. It comes down to a tiebreaker, and believe it or not, Browday actually bloody wins it. Browday actually wins the tiebreaker, even with the Gamora. Well, the Gamora doesn't buff because of the Cosmo. Browday wins this one in just 3 rounds. Unbelievable performance out of Browday. Felix didn't pop off, but you can't win them all. I'm good, thank goodness. Okay, Browday versus Ray Ray. Guys, don't forget, if you want to get a free season pass, you can still enter the tournament. We have a 6-cube game here, potentially. Browday down at 6 cubes, Ray Ray at 10. I believe this might be the other semi-final, so the winner of this is also going to qualify for the playoffs. There's no need for the final either. Here we go, the Shang-Chi goes left. Not a big play at all. The Patriot and the Mystique into Onslaught Citadel. Surely Browder is securing 6 cubes in this one. The Wasp comes through. It's 9 points. The Shang-Chi just not popping off. It was looking to find something. Shang-Chi actually getting next to no value in this matchup, though, right? The Enchantress was a little bit late. Maybe that surprise value of not knowing the deck they're up against. Winner still has 1 to win. Okay, thanks, Dan. So the winner of this still has to win 1 more. So we're not done after this one. All right, Titan the first location. Browday with his Batman shirt. Soulstone is the response. Soulstone into Plunder Castle. Very interesting. We see the Reality Stone go left. Yeah, I mean, I saw this list. Is it KM's list? Because I saw Moyen playing it as well. This is what knocked me out. This list. Asteroid M shows up to the right. Brood to the left. We see a snap come through. This one was from Browday. The Iron Lad on turn number 4 here. This is podcast partners Brendan. Podcast partners Brendan. This awesome. The Iron Lad, what's it going to hit? The Lockjaw on the other side as well. All eyes on that. It hits Enchantress, and Iron Lad is going to copy the Debris. It's pretty nice. Iron Lad also moves himself into Asteroid M, and that is going to clog up that Lockjaw lane. So looking like a pretty easy win to the right for Browday. Iron Man with that +2 power from Wakandan Embassy as well. Yeah, this just looks serious. I like it a lot. No Ultron in this one. I got done by Moyen's Ultron. Iron Man to the left. She-Hulk to the left. Plunder Castle currently going the way of Ray Ray. It was Browder who snapped. Mystique onto the Iron Man for double Iron Man. No Patriot or anything like that down on the board just yet. Brood at 4 points. So it's going to be a total of 8 points in that, 10 points in that location times 2 times 2. 4 points. This is for 2 cubes. Ray Ray has 4 health, so if he locks it in, this could be lethal. Does retreat, but Ray Ray now in a dangerous position with just 2 cubes left. Browday has 6. This means Ray Ray needs to win the next 3 games in a row. Browday just has to win 1 of the next 3. You lost in semis, Roy? Yeah, it seems very popular. I mean, I think Iron Lad is just a silly card. Uh-oh. Failed to join game. Error. Account does not exist. Error. Uh-oh. That's not ideal. I've never actually seen that one before. So I would imagine in a situation like this, what the players will do is they will get back to the high stakes position. All right, here we go again. It looks like they're going to keep doing the snapping back and forth. Right, here we go. The game is now back. So this is just for 1 cube this game. If either player snaps, it's a 2 cube instantly though. And a free retreat, if they would so wish, for the other player. The Mind Stone comes down into the middle. We have Necroshar off to the left. The middle location is Titan, reducing the cost of all 6 cost cards. Dr. Doom and Onslaught then are going to be cheaper for Browday. Ray Ray, I have no idea. His Thanos will be cheaper. I can tell you that much for sure. Space Stone and Time Stone come through for Ray Ray. 3 stones on the board after a couple of turns is nothing to smirk at. Throne Room, the final location. Probably not the best one there for Browday. I would say that favours Ray Ray. I'd be interested in a snap situation here if Ray Ray would ever go for it and if Browday would just concede. 3 stones down this early is pretty threatening. Patriot is going to come down on turn number 3, though. No Mystique available. There is, of course, an Enchantress as well in Ray Ray's deck, we did see. Time Stone moves to join the Space Stone. 2 cards coming down into Necroshard. It's Killmonger. So it's going to be the death version of this. Looking to play Wave then later on. And the Reality Stone into Necroshard. Turns it into Wakanda. Still only for 1 cube this game. So both players are able to retreat essentially for free. It's a very weird round. It's round 4 in battle mode. Iron Lad could potentially hit Onslaught, Iron Man, Mystique, Mr. Sinister, or Wasp. Iron Lad onto Mr. Sinister will give him a 6 power Sinister clone. The Mystique would be a Patriot with a 6 body. Thanks, 6-7. We see the Wave on 4. Controversial. Miles Morales comes through as well. Here's the Iron Lad, and it hits Iron Man's. Oh my goodness, that's filth. Iron Lad is quite a good card, huh? Never could have seen that coming. I can't believe people were actually saying that this card wasn't that good. It's so broken. Like, look at this shit. How's that fair? That's so broken. Just high roll. Like, its floor's not even that bad. 6 for 4. And you can just play for $1 million. Dr. Doom going into the throne room, it looks like. So Browley almost like wanting to put his bigger stats elsewhere because these Doom clones are Doom bots are 7 points, but deciding to put the 5.1 into throne room because he doesn't feel too confident about winning throne room. 2 cards played by a Ray, perhaps a stone and a 4-cost card. It's death into throne room, and it's Thanos, the Titan, of course, reducing the cost, making things nice and cheap. But look at the power of this Iron Lad high roll. The throne room is all but secured. It's a fight then for middle. 12 points needed to tie the left. Doesn't seem that easy, to be honest. Magneto wouldn't do it. It would move the Patriot in and it would be a loss. Dino, the most likely play then to secure the left. But then that would leave the middle available for Browday. But it's not going to be easy. Dino is the biggest threat, right? Which Browday has to respect. Remember, this is only a 1-cube game, so either player can essentially retreat for free here, because we then do go on to the high stakes. So this is like very unlikely we see both players lock this one in, because it's a free retreat. I'd be very surprised if this one is locked in by both players. But it might be if they're both confident. They both think they've got a shot. Browday locks it in. This could be the game. She-Hulk goes mid. It's the Soul Stone mid as well. Surprised we see the Power Stone off to the right. Thanos gets buffed to 20 stats. The Brood goes down the middle, but it's not going to be enough. And this one is going to be for Ray. I'm a little bit surprised Browday played this one out. I think he looked like he was in a tough spot, and it was basically a free concede. So I actually think this was obviously, like with hindsight, it was a bad decision. But like I said, I was very surprised that both players would play it out. Seemed like a good concede for Browday, as it was like a free retreat basically at this point. So now Browday, 2 lives remaining, but Death's Domain showing up on his doorstep. Pretty nice for cards like Brood, Debris, and Mr. Sinister, but also not so bad for a Death Thanos deck either. Space Stone going to be one way that Ray can get some stats in there. The second location is Sanctimorium. What a ridiculous game we have here on round number 5 in this battle mode. No snaps remaining for either player. There's not going to be any retreats. Just 2 games of Marvel Snap. Ray has to win both. Browday just needs to win one. Into Death's Domain, we see the Sinister clone remain. And on the other side of the board from Ray, it's a Time Stone. 4 energy then available for Ray on turn number 3. 2 death triggers have gone through. So death right now costing 7 energy. And the final is the Triskelion. It's not another dodgy location. We see Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, the Carnage, the Stegron. A very nice selection of cards there. Ray's hand might have been close to being full as well, though, because the Mind Stone, I think, was played on 1, and then the Time Stone on 2, so lots of card draw has gone through there. So the Triskelion probably maybe 1 card added to the hand of Ray. Debris so far the only way that Browday can get into Sanctimorium. Of course, Patriot or Blue Marvel would be needed to be adding stats. Killmonger would be a threat on turn 6 as well to remove that rock from play. And I'm going to come through on turn number 4. So Doctor Doom cannot be hit. Blue Marvel, Patriot, Cosmo, Mystique, and Wasp are the possibilities. Miles, not the best turn 4 play, or turn 3 play from Ray Ray, but he had that 1 extra energy, right? So didn't really make use of that extra energy ramp. Here we go with Iron Lad. The Onslaught could be big as well, as that would enable an Iron Man play, for example. For big, humongous stats. Let's also not forget there's an Enchantress in this Thanos deck. Is it good to hit Cosmo? Perhaps. Two cards played into Death Domain. The Iron Lad copies the Cosmo. Double into Death Domain. It's a Space Stone which can move Miles in there. Is it? You would imagine it's not the Reality Stone. It's going to be a 3 energy card of some kind. It's the Soul Stone. Surprising the Soul Stone doesn't go to the right, but feeding the Death instead. Miles can now move into the left. The Negasonic Teenage Warhead looks like it's going to be entering the board into the Triskelon. That is controversial. The Carnage first. Of course, the Iron Lad Cosmo is going to prevent that going through. Browday does have initiative. So this Teenage Negasonic Warhead, not Negasonic Teenage, is going to be killing the next card playing into the Triskelon, which you would imagine could be devastating. And it will be the Negasonic off of the Triskelon, and it's going to hit the Vision. It's heartbreaking. Browday absolutely loves it. Fist bumping and pumping. The Onslaught is the top deck. The Doom is the final card off the top. Well, not off the top, but the final card for Browday to play. It's going to be adding 5 stats into the Sanctumor and 5 into Triskelon. No point of conceding for Ray Ray here. We will see it played out. The Doom cannot go right because of the Cosmo. Does Ray Ray have any rhetoric, any response? Death is very cheap, let's not forget. But Death's Domain, unless there's a Blue Marvel, has gone the way of Browder. It's a Power Stone, it's a Miles, it's a wave, and it's a victory for Browday. He sniped the Vision out of there, and he moves on to the next round. GG. We have Browday versus Gentle Wave. The winner is qualified for the $1,000 tournament. Westview, Luke's Bar, and the final location reveals itself. It's Haller. The Brood slamming down into Luke's Bar. No snap coming yet, though. This is the tournament. This is essentially the final. The winner of this will qualify. The loser will be out. There's another tournament later on. There's 2 today. 2 qualifiers today. Into Haller, we see a 0 being played. Not the best use of 3 energy there. No access to Ebony more, it would seem, either. Sakar reveals itself. Which does mean that Browday might want to consider playing the Wasp. Decides to do so. And looks like he's going to be trying to win Haller. But worried about his Doctor Doom if it's Sakar. Big dilemma. Big dilemma here for Browday. The Zabu is down as well, so a big card could come down for Gentle Wave here. Enchantress, Atuma, White Queen are all possibilities. It's Atuma with the 0. The debris is going to get cleaned up out of Haller, but the Brood and the Shang-Chi are found off Sakar. The middle lane looking very, very winnable here for Gentle Wave. The right lane looking very, very winnable here for Gentle Wave. But the Iron Lad might have other ideas, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine an Iron Lad here onto Onslaught into Iron Man. It could pop the hell off. .13 lead in Haller. Luke's Bar is surely Browday's, and nothing was played. The Iron Lad hits the Onslaught. He doesn't look too happy about it, though. He doesn't seem too happy. There's no Doctor Doom available for his opponent, so I would imagine Iron Man just wins it. I don't see how it loses. It's going to win the right. It's going to win the left. He cannot lose the left. The problem here would be an Enchantress to the right, ladies and gentlemen. Enchantress into Hala and a card middle. It's Maximus. It's Cosmo. And that is going to be an epic victory for Browdo for 2 cubes. Damn, son. The Iron Lad high roll. I called it. Iron Lad's pretty good card, huh? Huh? Not bad. Round number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We have Browdo versus Gentle Wave. Subterranea, the first location, revealing itself. Doctor Doom, then, a nice card to have access to if you're Browdo. It's just a nice, good turn 6 play. Mer Island, also very good for Browdo with his Mr. Sinister and Brood. He can start getting a lot of points into there. Doesn't feel confident enough to snap, but look at the rock value. This rock is going to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Do you smell what it's cooking right now? The Mura showing up. That's going to deny any more points being put into Mer Island on turn number 3. Cosmo mid. It's going to be a little bit of a delayed Cosmo here. Interesting. Not wanting to go for the Brood and fill up a lane more than he might want to. And in fact, the rhetoric from Gentle Wave is also into Mer Island. Iron Lad shows up again. Patriot, Debris, Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Onslaught, or Wasp. Surely it's about time it hit the Wasp. Here comes Iron Lad, the most OP card in the game when it pops off. Cosmo, 2 cards in Mer Island. The Iron Lad copies the Patriot. Unbelievable value, that. Zabu and White Queen. White Queen is not going to draw the Doctor Doom for Gentle Wave because of the Cosmo. The snap comes through. It's the snap from Browday. Gentle Wave already down 2 cubes. Has a decision to make. The Rock and the Patriot is the decision from Browday. Enchantress onto Iron Lad is still a threat, which is why he's playing Patriot, not with the Iron Lad. What do we see down to the right? Most likely Enchantress. It's Invisible Woman and a mystery card. It's got to be a 3 energy card. It's either Cosmo, more likely Maximus. Perhaps it could be Zero. The Mystique and perhaps the Brood is going to be the play here. Where will the Mystique go? Browday has to predict where the Enchantress might come from. Decides to go off to the left. Enchantress can't hit both the Iron Lad and the Patriot Mystique. Browday really thinking decides to actually put the Mystique into the Iron Lad. I think this is really just a 50-50 situation. There's no real there's not particularly merit to one over the other. I actually think I prefer this. Enchantress left is slightly more likely if we predict that there's like a Maximus to the left. There's 9 points there already, so you might need that 5 body off to the left. It's only costing 3 energy though because of the Zabu. So in fact, there could already be an Enchantress to the right. Maybe Browday's undervaluing the fact that the Zabu means that Enchantress and Invisible Woman could have come down to the right. This also could be a Shang-Chi. It could be a Tuma, Maximus, Cosmo, all sorts, Zero. We just don't know. This is turn 6, ladies and gentlemen. This is for 4 cubes, but Gentle Wave takes the retreat for 2 cubes. And the score is now Browday 10, Gentle Wave 6. As we move on to round number 3, 2 2-cube wins for Browday. Okay, Superfloat showing up. Early doors. The Zabu on turn number 1 is not too bad at all. That's going to enable a Tuma White Queen to be played very early. Monster Island. That's good news for the Shang-Chi of Gentle Wave. Shang-Chi really struggling to find any value at all in this matchup, and the lack of options available for Browday is rather alarming. Could we see an aggressive snap on turn 3 by Gentle Wave here? After seeing this lack of early gameplay, the White Queen comes through. That means Onslaught is now an option for Gentle Wave. Not really going to be doing too much for them, but does give them some information. Now, you're three turns into the game, and so far you've not seen a card. Do you ever snap if you're Gentle Wave here? You're in a tough spot. Feel like Gentle Wave needs to be aggressive. The Iron Lad, though, the higher roll potential with this is just ridiculous. There's not a single bad thing it can hit. Invisible Woman and another mystery card, and the Iron Lad is going to pop off again. It hits the Cosmo this time. That does mean that his Patriot and things like that are now going to be safe from Enchantress. Alien Flames is now following Browday. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Alien Flames, for following Browday. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. Iron Man is going to join Iron Lad to the right. Mystique is copying Iron Man also. This is only turn 5. 6 energy available because of Superflow, of course. The Shang-Chi mid is still a big threat from Gentle Wave, but you would anticipate that to come down on turn number 6. It's costing just 3 energy. I like this decision here from Browder. He's putting the Iron Man down mid and also the Cosmo. This is going to protect him from Enchantress and that Shang-Chi down the middle. You can really see the work Cosmo is putting into this one. Will it be the Shang-Chi turn and will it get Cosmoed? Has Browday big-brained it here? Oh my days, it's Onslaught, alright? That was the Onslaught off the top. That now means that all of the 4-cost cards that Gentle Wave owns only cost 2. It's Brood and Patriot. Wasp is also available to be coming down. Mate, I play Marvel Snap in a Batman shirt too. I own the same shirt. Well, actually, I don't. Mine's black. His is grey. But still. Yep, no snap yet. And does end the turn, Browday. Will it be a 1-cube game and a retreat from Gentle Wave, or will he stay on? The Invisible Woman is offering a lot of surprise value. A Tuma is a threat. The 4-cost cards just cost 2. It's not so 3. It's like old Zabu, mate. Isn't it unbelievable that Zabu was printed like that? What were they thinking, ladies and gentlemen? Nobody knows. Currently, Browday on 10 health, Gentle Wave on 6. Gentle Wave loses 2 cubes here. They're in a really tough spot to make the comeback at just 4 cubes. And it is a retreat from Gentle Wave. Just a 1-cube win. Browday trying to just reel his opponent in there to play for a few more, I think. Excuse me. And we're now moving on to round number 4. This is the final round of the non-high stakes. You really want to be ending on either 10 cubes or an odd number. So Browday essentially has a free concede here to be at 9. On the other side, Gentle Wave is on 5, which is a precarious position. This 1-cube victory for Gentle Wave is absolutely crucial. Well, not absolutely crucial, but it's a significant round for Gentle Wave. Browday, while his concede is free, he doesn't lose any health technically himself. He would love to just get that 1 cube away from Gentle Wave. The Zabu on 2, Murder World shows up. Patriot on 3 is, of course, a wonderful little bit of curve. Zero. Ebony Moore. Big stats early game for Gentle Wave. Browday raises his eyebrows like, oh my lord, that's a lot of points. That's basically what I was thinking. The Iron Lad is about to pop off again. It can hit Mystique, which copies Patriot. It can hit Brood. which has 6 power Broodlings, by the way. It can hit Mr. Sinister, which has a 6 power Sinister clone, or it can hit the Cosmo and protect the Patriot. Gentle Wave does have the initiative here, so it could take a cheeky Enchantress predicting Cosmo to come through, but that would also mean that their Nova Room is filled to the rafters and there will be no space left. Yeah, this Iron Lad has just been absolutely ridiculous. We see the snap come through. This one is from Gentle Wave. He's going to be very happy if Browday just retreats here. Browday is in a position where he can retreat and it's not big for him, but he would love to just get an extra cube from Gentle Wave. I love the snap. I love the decision to Enchantress as well. The Patriot is no more. The Iron Lad, will it hit the Cosmo? It does hit the Cosmo! What a well-timed Enchantress here from Gentle Wave, denying the Iron Lad protection on that Patriot. However, there is a problem, which is now Browday knows exactly how many points he needs to win the left location. And that's when you want to be snapping in Marvel Snap, that turn before that little bit of surprise value. The Mystique, also, if it was copied by Iron Lad, would have done nothing. Iron Man to the right. Wasp still a possibility. Of course, Blue Marvel can add extra stats to the left, as can Wasp. Doctor Doom decides to play middle. Might be seeking out a bit of Vibranium actually, as that would open up the opportunity to go Blue Marvel plus Vibranium. We see Invisible Woman and a card. This is only a 3 energy card. The Vibranium is found. Ladies and gentlemen, that could be big. The Vibranium's putting Browd to 11 points to the right. The Blue Marvel is then going to be adding 6 points, which is putting him at 14. Decides to retreat. This was a 2-cube game, so as long as Gentle Wave doesn't retreat, Browday down at 8 health. This is a super significant round in round 4, because now we go into high stakes. Browday is on 8, which kind of gives him like 4 lives, right? 4 retreats maximum. Whereas if he was on 9, he would have 5 retreats. On the other side, Gentle Wave ends on 5 health, which basically gives him 3 retreats max. Whereas if he had 4, he would only have 2 retreats. So a super significant 2 cubes here for Gentle Wave. Really, really important. But will we see Gentle Wave play it out, or will we see a retreat from both players? Gentle Wave really thinking through their plays. It can't be a Tuma to the right. It has to be Maximus or Cosmo or something lower cost, because the Zabu got Enchantress. Gentle Wave does look in the play. Browday retreats, and that is the first damage on Browday. It's now 8 health for Browday versus 5 for Gentle Wave. 617 has selected the best 3 variants of Super Tech God. So after this, we'll be taking a look at the variant contest and seeing which were the best. Hey, Mycroft, great to see you. Washington, DC. Worth bearing in mind, if Enchantress removes the abilities of ongoing cards, they will get that +3 points. Of course, the Wasp, the Doombots, the Broodlings, the Mr. Sinister clone, the Rocks. Lots of points available here for Browday into Washington. Wakanda also shows up. Not going to be important in this one, although Atuma now does have a place he can reside with other cards. The Zabu on 2 again. We are in high stakes, of course, now as well. And Gamma Lab, a surprise show on the right. And the Brood and the Wasp are options. There is a Shang-Chi, though, available. So, I love this decision from Browd. I would love to see the snap as well. He's hovering the cube, because he's very likely here to have initiative going into turn number 4. So, he can then Cosmo the Broodlings, protecting his Hulk, and surely securing the bag off to the right. However, what Gentle Wave could do is realize the best case play here is to play Broodling and something else, and then try to stop Browd getting initiative by putting 5 stats to the left. Isn't able to do it. goes for the Atuma. Surely we're going to see the Cosmo to the right, denying the Shang-Chi on these Hulks. Gentle Wave has 5 health remaining. So yeah, a card like White Queen that turn into Washington would have meant that Gentle Wave had initiative going into turn 4, and then would have had the possibility to Shang-Chi in Gamma Lab. Even if he didn't have the Gamma Lab, could have, you know, the threat of the Shang-Chi is there because the Cosmo might just not be played, right? The White Queen comes through, a turn late probably. The Cosmo protecting the right. So the right lane is over. 39 points to 0. It's a fight now for Washington, D.C. Wakanda looking to be in Gentle Wave's favor. This is a 4-cube game. If Browday loses this one, he's down to 4 cubes. If Gentle Wave loses this, he's down to 1 cube. A huge, huge game in this battle mode. Mr. Sinister or Blue Marvel are the main 2 options being considered. There is, of course, the option of playing Mystique to copy Cosmo as well. Decides to just lock in the Mr. Sinister and do nothing else. What a strange play. On the other side, we see the Dr. Octopussy out of nowhere. It hits the Blue Marvel. It hits the Onslaught. Big stats. The Mr. Sinister won't make a clone. 16 points to the left. However, the Patriot shows up with the Mystique, which is going to be adding in an extra 4 points, putting Browday to 26. Will he suddenly stay in? Does he think that he has enough? Enchantress to the left would remove a lot of his points. Enchantress is the money card here. Does Browday respect the Enchantress? He knows it's there. He's already seen it. The question is, will he retreat or will he say, I don't care? Because this is only for 1 cube, remember, 1 extra cube. If Browday stays in this, he loses 5. If he doesn't stay in this, he loses 4. I think Browday's supposed to stay in here. Let's see if we can have a little...
But it's 1 more cube.
Listen
so it
in.
doesn't matter. It's just 1 more cube. For 1 more cube, it's worth it. Maybe if it was more cubes, I would have retreated, but for 1 more
He
cube,
looks in the play!
I hope it's worth it. Because we lose to only Shang.
He thinks he's losing only to Shang. He thinks he's beating Enchantress. There is a Zabu on the board, so it could be Enchantress plus Maximus for 12 stats to the left. That would be surely winning.
We lose to only Shang, I think.
Enchantress plus a card can also beat him. I agree with the logic. Let's see what it is. 2 cards to the left. Browday puts his hands together. This is a huge moment. It's Shang. It kills the Onslaught. It kills the Wasp. And it's Enchantress as well. And suddenly we have a very big game on our hands because that is a 5-cube game, meaning Browday is now down to 3 health. Now, if he stayed in this, he would only have 4. There's not really a big difference between 3 and 4 at this stage in the game. So I think he was correct to stay in it at this point. All right, round 6. 3 health for Browday, 5 for Gentle Wave. Both players on odd number of cubes. This would be quite the upset if Gentle Wave can pull off this victory against this deck, which has just been doing so much work in this tournament so far. The big house shows up. Zabu again on turn number 2. Browday. He needs to keep his composure here.
Every time.
Yep, it's true. Zabu on curve every time. Browday's not happy, but he needs to focus. He needs to not get mad. Space Throne shows up. Debris could clog the Space Throne here. And then he can buff it up with Patriot, with a rock, with Patriot or with Blue Marvel. However, if Gentle Wave anticipates this, could we ever see the Space Throne play? We don't see it. He loves it. Look at the reaction from Browday. He loves it. Invisible Woman comes down on the other side. He thinks that Space Throne is secure. There has been no snap yet. Will he feel confident enough to snap now? He's right. Yeah, but he lost to Enchantress plus a card. Enchantress plus a couple, because there was Zabu down, right? Enchantress Maximus was beating him, I believe, as well. All right, so we see the snap, and this one has come through from Browday. He didn't want to snap before the debris play, because actually that snap on turn number 3 would give up a lot of information that debris might be coming, right? And then you give your opponent perhaps a chance to react to that, to take the earlier retreat, or if they hadn't locked their play in, to play into Space Throne. But we have it. The retreat comes through, the debris Space Throne combo. 3 health each for Browday versus Gentle Wave, the winner of this one qualifying for the $1,000 tournament. Round number 7. This is the last round we're going to have any player being able to snap. After this, snaps and retreats become somewhat arbitrary. No plays on turn 1. We have Nidavellir. We have Hala, a very interesting location. It's going to be another skip for Browday. Zabu on curve again. Will we see it? And let's see the reaction from Browday. He's not going to be happy. Zabu, Zabu, Zabu. I want to see it just for the reaction from Browday. Zabu on 2. Into Nidavellir.
The last card is probably something big, but I don't know, Mary? What else?
We don't see it, but we do see the Ebony Maw come down into Hala, it looks like. Big stats into Hala early on. Probably not going to be... Oh my goodness, the Nexus. It's an absolute spanner in the works. The Nexus. We're talking Iron Man. We're talking Onslaught. But Cosmo is going to be absolutely crucial in this one to defend the Iron Man and the Onslaught from the pesky Enchantress. No sign of Cosmo just yet. Iron Lad on 4 could try to find it though. Patriot into Nidavellir. We could perhaps see an Invisible Woman play into the Nexus. That would be utterly fascinating. Gentle Wave's last card is Destroyer, which can be played, of course, into the Cosmo. Browday also, like predicted, it's probably something quite big. Off to the left, we see the Invisible Woman. Into Nidavellir. The Patriot comes down. Moving on to turn number 4. Hala. This is the turn of Hala. We do see the Iron Lad into the Nexus. He's looking for the Cosmo, I would wager. Cosmo here might just be game winning for Browday.
Chat, this is always a dog.
He wants the Cosmo. He's not going to snap beforehand, though. The initiative right now in favour of Gentle Wave. So if this is Cosmo, it's not going to come through until after Gentle Wave has made a play.
I actually tested Lich a bit today, but I don't know, man. I didn't like it, but maybe I should.
Will we see the Cosmo hit? The Iron Lad's popped off. It's the Mr. Sinister. And we see a 6 power clone off the Iron Lad. An 8 power clone, in fact. This also means that he's not top decking Cosmo for another turn. He can go for the Iron Man and then pray that he gets the Cosmo off the top, though. Might also just... Gentle Wave might just respect it too much. I think he's got to go for the Iron Man onto the Nexus, right? He just has to. I don't see the logic of this one because he's still got the threat of Cosmoing, right? Even though it's only a 1 in 4 for him to draw it, Gentle Wave doesn't know that he doesn't have it. I'm interested to see the logic of the decision to go Iron Man mid here and not into the Nexus. I'm pretty sure it's Iron Man into the Nexus every single time here.
They were playing Enchantress. No, chat. Play the Fame Enchantressing right now.
He's worried about getting Enchantress now. It seems unlikely. The snap from Browday comes through. If Gentle Wave doesn't retreat now, we are locked into the final game of this battle mode series. We do see the retreat from Gentle Wave. A bit of a bluff. A little bit of a bluff there from Browday. Bluffing perhaps the Cosmo.
That's good.
Alright, we're now in a position where Browday just needs to win one of the next 2. There's no more snaps, no more retreats. This is where that one little extra cube that Gentle Wave managed to save on round 4 is so important. He would be out of the game had he not saved that one single cube. I think it was just a great snap from Browday. Really asserting his dominance, even though he didn't really have the best play. Gentle Wave was just so scared of Cosmo plus Iron Man on 6, right? Stark Tower, the vault. Invisible Woman comes down into the vault. We see Mr. Sinister into Stark Tower. The final location reveals itself, and it is Wakanda. Not an impactful one at all in this matchup. Again, though, as I mentioned before, Atuma now does have a safe space to go. Well, I think Enchantress would be unlikely on turn number 5, because he would be wanting to save the Enchantress until turn 6, really, right? But it could have been a big brain play from Gentle Wave. It would have definitely been an unorthodox and out-of-the-box play, but maybe the correct one. Iron Lad comes through. What's it going to hit? It hits the Brood, and we see 6 power Broodlings. Utterly bonkers, mate. Sorry, did I say 6? I meant 8 power Broodlings. This Iron Lad played for 20 points. And 3 bodies for even more points on the Blue Marvel. Of course, it played more for, not quite 20 points, because, of course, the Patriot is contributing to some of those points, but big bodies, more points available. Browday looking to lock it up right now. This Iron Lad deck is looking absolutely yacked. Beyond belief good. I think that Iron Lad might be quite good then. Den was saying before the release of Iron Lad that this card was going to be absolutely yacked. In fact, I remember having a conversation in Switzerland around souffle. It is called souffle, right? Is it called souffle? What's the cheese stuff called? It's not called souffle, is it? That's something very different. Oops. What's the hot cheese called, guys? Fondue? Yeah. We see the Dr. Octopussy come through, and it pulls the Onslaught. Big find, actually. Really big find. The Blue Marvel, though, is enough for Browday to win the right location. The Blue Marvel. No point of retreating here. So, for Gentle Wave, this looks very difficult. He needs to put a point to the right, and he needs to get 13, 15, 16 to the left. 16 to the left, and 1 to the right. Enchantress to the left is surely his only possibility of doing this. Enchantress and something else. I just don't think he has enough. Even with the Enchantress. No Zabu down on the board, so best case is Enchantress plus Zabu, which is only 7 stats to the left. It looks like it's over. Browday has won this qualifier, it seems, and made his way through to the $1,000 tournament for Marvel Snap. Unless Gentle Wave has something up his sleeve. Destroyer. Wakanda is in play. Yeah, but Destroyer doesn't win the right still because of the Blue Marvel. So even the Destroyer is not quite enough by a single point. But will we see it nonetheless? I suppose Destroyer and then Enchantress mid could do it. Destroyer and then Enchantress mid could do it. It is Destroyer. Look at Brown's face. Is it the Enchantress behind the Invisible Woman? It's Ebony Moore.
Victory.
He's a clapjack. He's a clap.
GG to Browday, who has made it through to the qualifiers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live watching the finals. Browday versus Bolt de Bois, who we did see in action earlier on as the Nebula, the Korg. I don't remember what the deck he is playing was, if he is in fact even changing it up. Browday just not even caring that his opponent might know what he's playing and just continues to play the same damn deck every single time. This Iron Lad deck is just through the roof good. The Debris comes down as a Camp Lehigh. The Iron Lad on 4 as per usual. He seems to find it every single game. Iron Man, Onslaught, Brood, Patriot, Cosmo, the possibilities. And the Iron Lad hits the Brood. Filling the right. 12 stats for 4. Not bad. The Nebula goes through. The Shuri mid. It's looking like the Stature deck then. The Stature deck for Bolt de Bois. 2 of the most popular decks in the game right now. The Blue Marvel is going to be hidden in Dark Dimension, only to be revealed on after turn 6. The Black Bolt comes through and cleans up the Wasp. The Wasp could have been played sooner, predicting that. The Doom puts 5 stats into each location. Well, 6 stats because of the Blue Marvel. The Wave is a possibility. I guess Wave mid plus Mystique onto the Blue Marvel is the most logical play here. Or perhaps a retreat. The middle is surely not winnable. The right is very winnable, but the left is going to be a challenge. A real challenge. You would imagine Brody is going to be hitting that retreat button. Stature, of course, only going to be costing 1 energy. There wasn't any movement on the last turn, so Miles was still going to be nice and expensive, though. Brody is going to be retreating here, and first blood goes to Boat Dubois with the 1 cube win. Moving on to round 2 now. Eventually, we'll get there. Okay, we're on board with Browdate. Collapse mine, both players will skip. Big prediction. I was about to say Nebula. It kind of makes sense not to skip, but, you know, whatever. I feel like it's a misplay because if you have Korg, right, then you can't play Korg this time, whereas if you skip 1, then you can play Korg. But if Nebula grows, I guess it's not a misplay. Looks like Nebula might be growing. Alright. I see you there, Boat Dubois. 3-point advantage going into turn number 3 here. Atalan and the expansion. The Wasp played here because it's essentially thinning your deck. You end up with 1 less card in your deck with the Wasp on board instead of going back into the deck and improving the odds of you drawing all your other cards. All eyes then on to the expansion. It's a White Queen. She's going to be drawing a Blue Marvel for Boat Dubois, and on the other side it's an Ant-Man. White Queen's certainly the better of the two there. Brood is a possibility. Mystique also, so long as the Wasp was played before the Patriot, of course. Some of us might have misplayed there. The Shuri goes into the same lane as the Nebula. The Brood and the Mr. Sinister or the Blue Marvel are the main 2 options. Looks like Blue Marvel's going to be going down. Looking like he's in a sticky spot here. Does go for the Brood and the Sinister, which seems like the more reasonable decision. The problem is he's filling up the right location. But he does have Patriot and Mystique. Rock side comes down middle for big stats. A little bit of clogging, so perhaps a Rock top deck. Surely the Blue Marvel is the only real option here anyway for Browdate. Still only a 1 cube game with neither player snapping. The Blue Marvel and the Rock, the perfect draw. The Blue Marvel putting 4 more stats to the right, which is going to put him at 22 points to the right. But to the left, I'm surprised. Right, well, the Rock is actually a lot of points, right? The Rock is 4 points plus Blue Marvel is 5. So it's 18 points needed to the left. 18 points needed. Well, we didn't see the Black Bolt come through, so stature's not cheap. We didn't see any movement, so there's not a cheap Miles. You would imagine Boat Dubois is going to have to be forced into retreating and does. 1 cube apiece down. 9 health left each going into round number 3. Only 2 more rounds left of the low stakes gameplay. Gamma Lab showing up early doors. There is no Shang-Chi available for Browday. However, he can, of course, be getting a lot of stats in there with things like Brood. So far, nothing to play in there. And it's another card. The Korg comes down here for Boat Dubois. I wonder if we ever could see a snap. You would certainly imagine he won't snap until after this turn. He's going to want to wait to see the Brood. The Wasp is great. The Debris is nice, clogging the board. Now, if Boat Dubois knows the list that Browday's playing, which he's been playing a lot, so he probably very easily could, because Browday's streaming, he was like, look at his stream before the game, like, right, he's been playing this whole deck at the same time. I can just predict what he's playing. Knows that he doesn't have a Shang-Chi. Doesn't need to leave a space in Gamma Lab then. Would be very interesting. But let's not forget, Patriot is going to be buffing up these Hulks down the line as well. And there is an Onslaught. There is a Mystique available also. big moment into Gamma Lab. Neither player snapping. So still just a 1-cube game. And we see the Polaris trying to move a squirrel from Gamma Lab away. Doesn't manage to achieve it. And suddenly it's 3 Hulks apiece, which has to favour Browday. With the fact that he has the Patriot. The middle as well is looking like a sticky one for both players. No clog available though for Browday on that middle. Cosmo to the left because he does fear the Shang-Chi. However, the problem with this is that Boat de Bois could Shang-Chi this turn and it will go through because Browday doesn't have initiative. This would be a really interesting snap turn from Boat de Bois, right? Because you snap this turn, even if you don't have Shang-Chi, and your opponent has to respect it. No Shang-Chi comes through. The Dark Hawk off into Grand Central with a 13-point lead. The Patriot is going to be adding more stats, as will the potential Onslaught. Mystique or Onslaught would be humongous off of Grand Central here. The Brood would be a slight disaster, as it would fill up the Grand Central, preventing Mystique. Well, preventing the Onslaught being able to come down into the right lane. It's Rock Slide, meaning that Grand Central isn't going to even be hitting anything. Patriot comes through, and it is the Onslaught, the nuts. The nuts. Mystique is going to be copying Patriot. Not the Onslaught, because Onslaught wasn't played. And that is another 1-cube game, all the way around to round 6. No snapping from either player so far. Moving on to the final round of low stakes. Wasted 3 power playing Debris? No, not at all, right? Because your opponent would also get a rock and therefore also a Hulk. Whereas if you play Debris, you get 1 Hulk more than your opponent. That's actually gaining a lot more points. In this case. If Debris was only playing cards on your side, you'd be right, but it's playing a rock on your opponent's side also, isn't it? Mr. Sinister showing up on curve here. This is the final round of the normal stakes. Browday is on an odd number. Boat de Bois is on an even number. So Boat de Bois can really afford to lose 1 cube, but he would love to get this 1 cube away from Browday. We see the Zabu going down into Strange Academy. We see the Monster Island also showing up. Does anybody know what this cat's called? Rockside comes through down the middle. Rockside on turn 3 means the chance of drawing rocks is very high, and we see it there. Also, Rockside shuffles the deck. And of course, the other thing to consider is that Iron Lad can now hit a rock as well. It's called Milky. Nice. In English. Or not. In German. 617's asked what the cat's name is. What, chat? In the chat. Awkward energy turn here. Mystique and Rock is the decision instead of the Iron Lad. This is a 2-cube game. There was a snap that went through. It looks like it was a snap from Browder. I missed that. Apologies. I got distracted by the cat. Neither player retreating on this 2-cube game. So losing 2 cubes is a lot better for Browder than it is for Boat de Bois, because Browder's on an odd number at this point. Like, really going into an odd number on the round 4 is where you want to be. It's much better to be on an odd number at this point. Kind of interesting. What do you think about it? So really on round 3, you already need to be thinking about, right, do I want to be going into round 4 on an odd number or an even number? Much, much better to go in on an odd number going into round 3. All sorts going on over here, mate. The Kun Lun absolutely popping off. Iron Man is the card drawn. Iron Lad is still a possibility. It could hit Wasp, a Rock, a Doom, or an Onslaught, or a Blue Marvel. Iron Lad to the left then could be humongous if it hits Onslaught. It would be enough to win the lane. Iron Lad puts him at 19. And then the Sinister Clone would grow by 4 points, which would be at 23. So it would be a tie. It's a controversial decision to take the Iron Lad to the left here. I'm not sure I agree. The Brood's also rather sad, isn't it? Alright. In a position where he might want to retreat, but maybe not. It's only the Onslaught which the Iron Lad could copy, which would be enough. He could, of course, Iron Man the left, but then Might not have enough to the right. Black Bolt came through, so stature is a big threat. 7 power for just 1 energy. There was also cards moved on 5, so Miles is in play, potentially, at 5 points for 1 energy. Surely this has to be a retreat from Browday. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like he's staying in. This would be mind-blowing. Now, let's not forget these broodlings are going to be getting buffed up by 4 power each. This is going to be a 10-point brood. Decides to retreat. I think it's a good decision. And Boat de Bois had locked it in. And we go into the high stakes with the scores. Boat de Bois, 8 health. Browday with 7 health. Hello, high stakes. Wakandan Embassy buffing up that Mr. Sinister. That means the Sinister clone is also going to be at 4 points. The Nebula comes down to the middle. Milky is the correct answer. Nice one, 6 or 7. Thanks. Core comes through. Again, shuffles the deck and adds a rock into the mix. So Iron Lad could hit a rock now if we see Iron Lad played later. Hellfire Club coming through. Patriot now would mean that Mystique is unlikely unless you top deck it. But are they deciding to go for it? It seems anyway, playing it into the Nebula location, denying the points there, of course. The Cosmo comes through, perhaps Cosmo to protect the Patriot. Browday doesn't have initiative this turn yet, though, so Cosmo to protect from Enchantress is a little bit risky. Also, 3 cards we haven't actually seen yet, so it's possible that there is no Enchantress. Shang-Chi, Enchantress, both quite likely. Stature we have seen Miles. My prediction would be these final 3 cards. Certainly Stature will be 1. Enchantress or Shang-Chi, maybe both. I don't actually have this deck myself, so there might be something I'm forgetting about because I don't own Stature. Debris goes middle, and we do see the snap from Browday again. This is now a 4-cube game, ladies and gentlemen, as the Shuri comes down to the right in Hellfire Club, trying to solidify that right lane victory. The Blue Marvel comes down into the middle, hitting the Nebula again. Or denying the Nebula, I should say. We're going to see the Black Bolt come through to the right. We could have seen the Wasp played, but deciding not to do it again, I think it was maybe not optimal. Would have liked to have seen the Wasp come through on the last turn. The Cosmo mid and the Mystique mid is the play. The Cosmo is trying to deny the Enchantress. This is going to be a 7-cube game if both players lock it in. The Mystique is also copying Cosmo. And it's just being played for a 1-point card because of the Blue Marvel. Cosmo is not a lot of points mid. It's going to lose to a lot. A lot. But he locks it in! It's outrageous! 2 cards go down middle into sewer system. Surely Boat de Bois is going to be having the 7-cube game. This might be the end of the tournament. It's Stature. It's Miles. It's GG, ladies and gentlemen. Browday getting taken out in the final. Still qualified, though. Congratulations to Boat de Bois. The Stature deck taking down the new spicy deck, the Patriot Iron Lad. GG to both players. Thank you to Browday for showing us his point of view. Thanks to all the tournament organisers. Thanks to everyone watching. Shout out to you all.